kind of like just to be fresh
Hell yeah. I
without
like to
having
do
to
that too.
think, without having to think of stuff. So like when I'm in the studio, I I don't write. I just go to the studio and then put the song on, and then wherever that beat takes me, then
I
so
like it. I'm kind of like that too. I like to live in, I don't want to say live in spontaneity, but
right,
like when I film like comedy and stuff too, like some people are really attached to the script and I'm just like, let's just like improv and like make the
right,
best out of this instead of just
yeah,
adhering to the every line. I don't know.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know if that's exactly what you're talking about.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Exactly, man. It's just I don't know if it's fresh for me,
It's
then it's authentic.
yeah, it's more authentic and
Yeah,
I think that's what people want.
right.
All right, we'll get
We already recording?
yeah, well, I'll do a little intro here and then we'll get going.
Oh, okay. So we can still use that.
We could if we wanted to,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah,
Throw,
everything's recording.
throw that in there.
All right. I'm so happy today to have Juma Blaq here. Thanks so much for coming by today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. It's been a long time coming. We've been talking about this, getting back and forth with each other for a while now.
Yeah, and I
And
know we both been at some events and stuff recently, and yeah.
right, I was talking to Terrence. He seen that this was on my schedule. He was like, "Oh, yeah." So you know what I'm saying? He thought it was from this situation, the political side of things.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like, "No, we actually been talking for a while,
yeah.
trying to put this thing together, and we
Yeah.
finally made it happen since we seen each other at uh, the
The
debate."
debate, yeah. And I was
Yeah,
gonna say shout out to you because I just, you jumped in and helped. They were having some technical problems, and
right. Some audio issues.
you were doing the Lord's work, helping them with a lot of their wireless mics and I don't, or whatever was going on. I don't even remember, but
Yeah, man. The sound tech, she was overwhelmed,
yeah,
and didn't get a proper sound check and everything like that. And so, like, her gains was up too high and on a couple of different mics.
but
And so we was getting too much feedback,
feedback,
man,
yeah,
to the point where people started leaving,
yeah.
so.
Well, yeah, and I was gonna say it's just an honor to have you here. Like, you just seem like you have such a prolific career and you're an established artist here in Portland. Um, I was listening to even some of your old Strictly from My City tracks,
Oh, yeah.
and like I don't know, you just have bangers on a lot of different albums. I feel like,
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah,
Honestly, I kind of forget sometimes, like, some of the dope stuff that I've done or put out. You
yeah,
know what I mean? That's Strictly for My City album. That was my first solo album as Juma Blaq.
yeah.
And just going back through it, sometimes I listen to it just to get some motivation. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Yeah,
When I want to get creative. And yeah, man, that's a dope album. Got
it's
Cool Nuts on that album. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, the Strictly for My City track got Cool Nuts on it.
Okay, there you go. That title track.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say because that's like 2011, and that was when I made I don't know 5 or 6 hip hop videos, and I was briefly kind of in that scene, and I always remember smoking a huge blunt with Luck One, that guy. I don't know if you remember
Luck
Luck
One.
One. Yeah, and I felt like I was like this most special person to be able to do that. But anyway,
I think he
um,
went by something else. He goes by something else now, or he went
probably,
by something else.
probably,
Yeah, Luck One was tearing up the track, tearing up the scene.
yeah,
Matter of fact, he had just got out.
yeah.
Yeah, he had just got out and he was out for revenge, man. Like,
But that I just like that era. I don't know, like I remember, yeah, Cool Nuts. Cool Nuts was always a huge
right,
figure, but yeah, it's just and it's cool that that was your first solo album too. I think in that year,
right. Well, that was actually my first solo album as Juma
as Juma
Blaq.
Blaq. Yeah.
Right. So my very first solo album was The Humble Beginning,
Okay.
and I went by Watts back
Gotcha.
then, but I had to change my name because everybody thought I was from Watts, California, and
Okay. That makes sense.
it was
I
a
guess.
big deal, man.
Yeah. So tell me about. I wanted to go back. Just tell me about growing up in Portland in general, because I read like your bio thing. You're saying like you kind of grew up on the streets homeless a little bit. Like,
Yeah,
is that accurate? Yeah.
that's accurate, man. So grew up. Oh, sorry.
It's all good.
Grew up, bounced around a lot. We were homeless. So the YMCA right across the street downtown off of Burnside, right across from X
Mm-hmm.
nightclub. We used to stay there. I remember we had to get there by 6 o'clock so
To
that
get
we
in.
we stay in the line and then we can get in and have a place to stay for the
Yeah.
night. You know what I mean? I remember having to sleep on park benches a couple of times
Damn.
just because we just didn't have any place to go. You know what I mean? Well, I didn't have any place to go at those times. Um, and yeah, just moving around Northeast Portland, man, and trying to find my way at a very young age. And when I say very young age, like sixth, seventh, eighth grade.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And I'm guessing you're like, I feel like we're kind of the same. I was born in '86. Are you kind of like that?
85.
Okay. Yeah.
You know it.
Yeah.
We're approaching that age.
I know. It's one of those where like I feel older, but then sometimes I'm just like, I just do all the same kind of shit that I did when I was younger. I
Right,
don't know.
right. But better.
Yeah. Definitely some healthier choices, I think, in
Oh,
there.
most definitely.
So yeah, and then tell me about getting into, how did you get into music and how did you get started doing that?
So it's an interesting story, man. So I'm gonna take you back to sixth grade, right?
Okay.
So I'm in the sixth grade and sitting in my room, and I'm listening to NWA, right? So I write a rap, a verse. I don't know if it was a proper verse or not as far as bars goes. I was just writing, right? And so my mom actually finds that verse, and it had a bunch of MFers and Bs and all type of explicits in it, right? And so she's like, "No, you're not doing this." I crumbles it up, throws it away. And so like that was my very short stint of getting into music and rapping. So fast forward, I'm 19 now. Uh, no, I'm 18. I move out to Palo Alto, California,
Okay.
with my mentor. Shout out to Tunde Sabomahim Esfachi, and we were out there. I was out there helping him with his clothing company, his clothing brand. It was Esfachi, S5C, and he's playing this album every single day that we're out there, right? And I'm just getting into it, but I realized one day, like 3 weeks later, I realized like there's no cussing in this album. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this dude isn't cussing. So I asked him, I'm like, man, who is this we've been listening to? And he's like, oh man, that's Speedy Guns. I'm like, Speedy from Portland? He's like, yeah. I'm like, Jonathan? He's like, yeah. And that's my cousin.
Okay.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, man, let me make a phone call. Cause I'm like, I know if he can make music like this,
That's
so can I.
your connection. Yeah.
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 So that night I call him, we chop it up. He's out at TSU in college. And he's like, yo, in the summer when I get back, let's link up and put some things together. So he had already established himself, and one of my good childhood friends, Breeze, had established the record label while they was out at TSU called Standout Records. And so they had two other artists that was back in Portland. So they was so Speed was like, when you get back in Portland, I'm gonna link you up with these other two artists, and y'all can just form a group or whatever. And so I came back. We formed a group called First Infantry under Standout Records, and we were gospel hip hop. And
Nice.
so out
Nice.
of Mount Olivet, and so we did a lot of the youth nights and everything like that. We traveled California, Chicago, a bunch of different places,
Wow. Wow.
Minnesota, and we were really like just making wave. You know what I mean? I remember we used to post up when we dropped our first album, the compilation, together. So it was all five of us on the compilation. We used to post up over on off of Ainsworth at the Safeway in
Mm-hmm.
MLK and sell albums on the corner, right?
CDs. Yeah.
Yeah, CDs. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Back,
Yeah.
I don't think people know, or the young kids know what CDs are today, but uh, I remember just a bunch of different people from all types of walks of life popping it in their deck as soon as they got it, leaving and coming right back like, yo, what is this?
Yeah.
Like, this is gospel hip hop.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even you couldn't tell the difference, but it was refreshing. You
It
know what I'm
seems, yeah, it
saying?
does seem like almost like ahead of the game as far as that. I mean, I'm just thinking like, I know Kanye did that big hip gospel thing, but
Right.
this is way before that, right?
This was
Yeah.
before that. This was Lecrae had just broke out on the scene. This was the Stomp era
Okay.
with Kirk Franklin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We had Concrete Evangelist here in Portland. That was a gospel hip hop group, as well as Real Recognize Real. That was a gospel hip hop group. So
So it was like a scene going.
yep,
Yeah.
yep. We had a nice little scene, a nice run too.
That's cool. Yeah. I was talking about this yesterday, and what do you think about like the whole? I just feel like the CD days and like what like streaming now and all that stuff, like it's just so different. It's a
Very
completely
much.
different game, like,
Yeah.
but
I
I
think
don't know.
the part about it that I liked the most back in the day, as far as selling CDs, was what we actually got to go out into the community and do. Right,
Totally, yeah.
we got to build relationships
Yeah, there's in
with our
person.
fans in
Yeah.
person. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Shake hands, take pictures. You know what I mean? That and it wasn't like it was at a show.
Hmm.
We were out and about. You know what I'm saying? Being very aggressive about our approach and selling our CDs. And I think I miss that the most about selling CDs because that physical hard copy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like it's the same also, and I'd be curious to see what you think about with like, the like Blockbuster days. People always talk about that of like it was so
Oh
much
yeah,
better when you go in there and pick a movie and you have to think about it, and now people
right.
just scroll through all the
Because it
movies and
was
like,
more than just thinking about it, right?
yeah.
Like you had to plan. All right, it's Friday night.
Mhm.
I'm getting off work, or your mom just got off work, and we get to go to Blockbuster, right? It's
It's like intention.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's intentional. You get to go and see the new releases, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Old.
Yeah.
Then you get to go and pick out your popcorn and it was an experience, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
then you get to go home, open it up, pop it in, sit back, eat. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it was a whole experience opposed to getting on your phone and just click click.
And there's
Mm,
almost too many options where
very much
it's
so.
like, because I think about too, same with CDs. Like, do you remember like I used to do, what was it called? Columbia
Club
House or whatever, where you pick
was it
like 5 free CDs.
I don't remember the
That
five
thing,
free CDs.
like we did it a lot in my family, and maybe we shouldn't have, but it was like one of those things where like we'll send
Were
you
they
five
free?
free, and then we just cancel, so we get all these free
Oh, yes, yeah,
CDs.
yeah, yeah, I do
You
remember
remember that?
that. So
Yeah,
that was like when the red box, right before the red
yeah,
box came out, right?
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, I do remember that. But
but
I also remember going to what's the one that was in the Lloyd Center? Not the Tilt. The Tilt was a
that's
video
an
game
arcade.
store. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
arcade. The
You're talking about Suncoast, that thing?
no,
It's like a DVD place. That thing.
music.
You're talking about like
Um
Sam Goody and all that.
Sam Goody.
Yeah.
But there was one where I remember 96 when No Limit
No.
was really just killing it.
Yeah, Master P.
Master P, and
Yeah.
then you know what I'm saying, you would go into the music store, buy his album just to open up the
Yeah.
the catalog and see what else he had
Yeah.
coming. You know what I'm saying? He had a good 20 different albums about to drop. He was like, yo, I can't wait for
Yeah.
Mac to come out. I can't wait for Silk the Shocker or
Mm-hmm.
C Murder. You know
All
what I
the
mean?
crew.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Fiend, Mia X, yeah, all of that good stuff.
Yeah. It just feels like the same. Yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting to think about. Like, you'd have to go through each track on the CD and actually listen to it. And now
Yeah.
it's just way more disposable. People just kind of like give it
Yeah.
10 seconds and then move
10
on.
seconds, you being
You'd
generous.
be lucky. Yeah. Yeah.
More like
Um,
3.
yeah, I was gonna tell me about getting into like, when did you get into video? When did you start doing that?
So I got into video in, well, I'm not going 2020 officially,
Okay.
2020, 2021. But before that, 2019, 2018, I started directing
Doing
videos,
music
music
videos?
videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did a lot with the artist Tyreka. I directed a few of hers with Young Mill. Shout out to Young Mill and Tyreka. I directed a few of Zito's videos, my guy Zito. Um,
And you were actually shooting them and all that stuff, or
I was directing, co-directing, and directing with Young Mill.
okay, he was
So
shooting. Yeah.
Young Mill would shoot, but we would storyboard everything out
Okay.
prior,
Yeah.
and so I've done a lot of dope videos.
Yeah, because I know I was watching some of yours and like I think it was the Solid AF video.
Uh huh.
But did you, because you directed that your own video?
I actually directed that
I
one
thought that was really
and shot
unique.
that one.
Yeah.
Well, I shot that one. I was the cameraman as well as my wife.
Okay.
Yeah, and my son. So,
That's cool. Yeah.
just trying to keep the family involved. My wife does a lot of the behind the scenes footage and
That's a
things like
great
that.
video too.
Thank
It
you.
is. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted with that one, I wanted to shine a light on a lot of the talent in the town
Yeah.
and a
It's
lot of
like
the people in the
everyone's in
town.
that. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Got a lot of cameos in that joint. Took me a long time to get, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, to orchestrate
All those shots.
all those shots.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of people that I wish I could have got, wasn't able to get, but you know what I mean, I did my best.
Yeah, no, there's so many people, and it's really just tasteful and artistic and creative. All the way you did the shots, the composition, all that
Thank you.
stuff, and I can tell you put a lot of work into it. But yeah, and I thought that was just really unique. I'd never heard of anyone doing their own video, and I think that's just special. I don't know, it
Thank
seems
you.
really cool. Yeah,
Thank you. Yeah, That's the way of the future. What I've been on lately is more videography. You
Yeah.
know, I've shot a movie 2 years ago. Um it's called Night Sprite.
Okay.
Shot it with Triple Echo Studios. Shout out to Bobby Bridges.
Nice.
Um
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about all that, like, because I just assumed you had kind of like a cinema kind of interest as well. But
right.
yeah, obviously you do if you shot this whole movie and stuff, and
Yep.
that's cool though. I
Thank you.
love all that stuff. I don't do as much of it I used to, but
Right.
I wish I could.
Yeah, man, it's definitely one of those things where you have to dedicate yourself to it if you really want to do it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And that's where I'm at with it, just locked in on videography and about to get back into because I've recorded my own albums. So a lot of my last album, that Solid ASF album, I did my own recording on that as well as mixing. Worked with my guy Ian Watts. Been working with him for the last past, I want to say 19 years.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
long time. Yeah.
Me and Ian goes back, and he's the reason why I got into studio engineering.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
he's helped me out tremendously, and he's been on every single project that I put out, all five of my albums. He's
Pro
been right
Tools and
there.
all that
Yeah,
kind of
Pro
stuff.
Tools.
Okay.
Yep.
I
Yep.
get I that's like where I get kind of lost because like I just record on I do what I need to for video,
Right.
but once it gets to like mastering and all that stuff, I don't know what I'm doing as far as
Right. Yeah.
mixing, mastering. I'm not
Man,
really.
that's the part I love the most is
Yeah,
the mixing, you know what I'm saying?
it's
Blending
important, right?
everything together.
Yeah,
Yep. So that's what mixing in the studio is what took me into all the audio engineering stuff
yeah.
and video because it's all kind of the same,
Hmm.
just yeah,
It's like
with a different twist.
quality standards and all
Yeah.
that stuff. And yeah, I was actually remembered somebody or I was talking to Big Smurf yesterday. That guy.
Shout out to Big
Yeah,
Smurf. I seen that you had posted that. Yeah, I
yeah.
wanted to give a
But
shout
he
out
was telling
earlier.
me, do you used to work at a radio station too?
Jammin' 107.5.
Okay,
Yep,
that's
Jammin'
awesome.
107.5. And then I did a lot of stuff behind the scenes for Z100, for The
Oh wow.
Brew. They're all
Yeah,
sister stations. Yeah.
they're all part of the same. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
K103. All of them. Yeah.
Was that like, did that teach you a lot, or did you already know a lot about that stuff before you got in?
So honestly, I thought going into, I'm like, man, I've been doing music for years. I know how to talk behind a microphone and yeah. So when I got into the studio as a personality, my very first liner, Geoff gave me. Big shout out to Geoff. Um, he gave me a liner. It was about I want to say a 10-second clip,
Okay.
right? It took me about 45 minutes to record that. And the
Just because
reason
you,
why
yeah,
is because you get self-conscious in saying like, oh, well, did that come out right?
mhm,
Not knowing, you know what I mean? The radio side of things. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I was second guessing everything when I first started
totally, yeah.
until I started listening to myself. And then I'm like, okay, this is the path that I can take.
Yeah, is that weird for you? Sometimes, like I had a guest earlier this week who was just like, I can't stand listening to myself, and I was
No,
telling him I don't care anymore because I've been doing this for so long, and just video, like I
the
don't.
best way to develop and learn is not only just listening to yourself, but paying attention to yourself in all aspects of life, right?
Yeah,
Like if you're an artist and you draw, you look at where you started from and you look at where you are today
that
and
progression.
that progression,
Yeah.
yeah, and you just study yourself. Like that's the only way to really progress in life if you study yourself and not just study everybody else. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I know
Like
it's big, and like and I've never done stand up. But I love stand up comedy. I know they'll stand up comedians will listen to their own sets and
right,
figure out like I got to change the timing here and do this different. And
definitely.
yeah, it just seems super important. I was gonna ask you too about like, are you're like teaching video or you're teaching? Sorry,
DJ.
DJing. Okay, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So I teach a DJ class. Big shout out to Ben Dre Cut, Ben Andrews, however you want to look at it or say his name. We're out there at Wooden Fish Parents First on 180th and Division.
Nice.
And every Monday evening, 4:30 till I say 6:30, but a lot of times we go longer, because
Mm.
we just in there vibing out and my students are learning. And I'm having a good time. They having a good time at it. So like there's really no time frame of when we stop. But yeah, every Monday at 4:30 at Wooden
That's
Fish
awesome.
Parents First, I
Yeah.
teach a DJing class, and it's free of charge.
Oh, it's pretty nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's free of charge, and it's all ages. So
That's
like,
awesome. Okay. I
there's
thought it
no
was like a
cap on
kids
that.
thing. Yeah,
No.
but do you find that is there it seemed like there'd be a lot of interest in that these days. But I was gonna say with kids, but I don't know. Anybody, I guess, yeah.
Um, it's a lot of interest in it. Yes, you know what I mean. A lot of people want to understand
Mhm.
DJing a lot more. You know, yeah, and it's just it's a fun outlet.
Okay.
It's a fun outlet. It's fun to have. I got a lot of mentors in that space.
Mhm.
DJ OG1, of course, DJ Cliff, DJ Stack. Big shout out to Stack. He's been helping me out tremendously along the way. Um, who else? DJ Fat Boy, DJ Prince, DJ Chill. Can't forget about DJ Chill.
Yeah.
Um,
I saw him I'm pretty sure I saw Fat Boy in that video I was talking about
yep,
and I like I didn't really know I sort of knew him back in the day, but because I remember he was Krayshawn's DJ, I
yep.
think
He was
back in the
Krayshawn's
day.
DJ.
Yeah.
He's DJ for E40,
All
Krayshawn.
sorts of people. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Cool Nuts. He's Cool Nuts DJ.
yeah.
I just remember the opportunity that he had got when he did down in Cali with E40, his first 40,000 person gig.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like that was
gigantic.
huge. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. That was huge. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, big shout out to Fat Boy, Slim Boy, whatever you
Yeah.
want to call him
Yeah,
now.
he did lose a bunch of weight, I think.
Right.
Uh, this was I was gonna ask this along with the video because I thought you're for some reason I wrote down teaching video, but you're teaching that. But I'm curious like what you think about I guess with music too, like AI and video. People always ask me about video with AI stuff, and I've always been like, I'm not worried about it with like the writing side of it, especially with comedy. I've tried to have it write comedy scripts, and it's just never funny.
It bombs.
But I'm just curious, yeah, like what do you think about music and video with AI and all that stuff? And
I think it has its place, but for me, I w- I wouldn't oversaturate it
mm,
in my creative space because it takes away from being a creative.
yeah,
You know what I
doing what
mean? Yeah,
what you're kind of wanting to do.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like for people who just now want to get into it and like, oh well, let me cheat my way to the top or cheat my way into this,
Yeah.
that, and the third. It's a tool for them, but true creatives, they they don't want anything to tamper with their
Yeah.
mental and their mindset and their creative space. You know what I mean? So
That's
that's
definitely
what
how
I
I
think.
feel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
I don't know. It just doesn't seem. It's like if you, I don't know, especially with writing, it's like if you want to, I know it's super fast now. If you just ask it something, it'll give you
Right.
a book. But it's just like, if you want to write a book, why don't you just fucking do that?
Why
Like,
don't you just write a book?
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. It just seems like, yeah, I don't know if it is like a fast lane thing, but
Yeah, it's a fast lane thing, but I think a lot of the old school, I hate saying old school,
yeah.
but you know what I mean. A lot of us are old schoolers, man. We enjoy the process. You know what I
Totally. Yeah.
mean?
And you lose all that.
Yeah, you lose all of that if you don't really go through that process and that experience.
Can you tell like when you hear an AI track? I was listening to this podcast yesterday, and it's just a comedy podcast, but they're like, "Oh yeah, you can totally tell."
You
Like,
can
yeah,
because it sounds generic, but at the same time, it's going to correct itself
hmm
at some point. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? So
it'll
where
get
you
better.
can't, yeah,
Yeah,
where you can't tell, and that's the scary part,
it is.
right?
Yeah,
That's the scary part when you look at some of these Instagram clips of LeBron James and his son as what's his name, the wrestlers. Have you ever
WWE.
seen
I don't. Oh
you?
well, I've seen the one where they put him on the wrestler's face. Is that what you mean?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking
yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah,
So like, it's unlimited amounts of things that can possibly happen with AI.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you know how that is,
It's
man.
just yeah.
It
It's
can
a
turn into an evil thing at
yeah.
some point.
It's like in the creative space, it's weird because it seems like a future that none of us really want, but it's just coming.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess some people probably want it, but
It's a wave, man, and it's coming to take over.
yeah. Um, this is sort of along those lines. I was gonna because I liked your video you did about, and I like the whole feud too. But I liked your video you did about Drake and Kendrick, and you
Hmm.
kind of mentioned something about Drake using AI in there. I
Yeah.
think. But I just like what you had to say about that, and I was just gonna recap your kind of feelings on it. I just think it was such a great we got so many good tracks out of that
Yeah,
beef.
oh, we did, man. We got some tracks out of that beef that we don't even remember
Yeah,
because Not Like Us took off so
it's huge now.
that
Yeah,
was a wildfire, man.
yeah,
And it took off and you just forget about how dope that whole entire back and forth.
yeah. It was like what, like 4 or 5 weeks or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, it was a good stint and there was there was certain artists trying to inch their way into it,
yeah.
but it was like, no, we don't even want that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We don't need your voice. We don't need your opinion. We want these two going head to head, these two heavyweights going head to head, just like they did. And yeah, man, I think it was great for hip hop
It
because you
was.
had
Yeah.
two lyricists, you know what I mean, going at it in a fashion that we've never seen
Hmm.
before. You know,
It has to be the greatest beef of all time.
I
I
believe
would
it. I
think.
believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so. I believe it takes the cake on any other beef.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the thing is, even though Drake lost massively, he was right there in the running. If you
Hmm.
listen
Hmm.
to some of those records that he put out, it's like, yo, listen, yeah,
That's why I think, yeah, just the whole competitive aspect. We got all this great music, and
right,
I kind of want it more, but it's also like they were just going for the throat. Like they
yeah,
were just like,
yeah.
because at first I think a lot of people, even me, were just like, is this like manufactured? Are they just doing this for marketing? But then after a while, it's like, this is
Nah,
like,
this is
yeah,
yeah.
like,
This is entertaining. This is
yeah,
entertainment. This is drawing us in. This is
yeah.
what hip hop needed because it was so much just BS going on in
Hmm.
hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Before they had that beef and they brought hip hop back to a space where it's like, okay, you got to rap now.
Yeah.
You know,
Make it
you gotta be
competitive.
able to rap.
Yeah. What do you think? Where do they go from? Obviously, Kendrick's like, I think he's doing the Super Bowl now, and
Yeah, yeah.
again, I think he did, but where does Drake go? Like, what do you think is going to happen with it?
Drake doesn't have to go anywhere.
He's got,
He's already
yeah,
the number one
platinum
seller.
level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Drake is in the club, man.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't think a lot of people understand that aspect of things.
Hmm.
Like, Drake is in the club, in the club.
Yeah.
Like, you got Drake as R&B in the club. You got Drake as hip hop in the
That's
club. You got
true.
Drake as, you know what I mean?
He's got
Like,
all these different lanes.
all these
Yeah.
different lanes. So
Yeah.
all he got to do is continue to just put out, continue to just do him. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, I don't believe anybody ever took him as gangster or anything like that.
That's
You know what
true.
I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yeah.
it's not like,
The Degrassi stuff and all
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah, it's not like he's gonna lose fans that he never had. You know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
still gonna have his fans
Hmm.
that follow him and that support him and that's
Yeah. They're
he's
not
there.
going
No,
anywhere.
he's
Yeah.
they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Drake is always gonna be right there. I don't listen to Drake like that per
Yeah.
se,
Yeah.
but as a DJ, I do play his music
Hmm.
because if you want that that floor to be packed all night
Yeah.
long, you
Yeah.
gotta play some Drake.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. He's got some all-time heavy hitters.
right.
Let's see. I was going to ask you about how do you feel about Portland today? I mean, obviously you grew up here. Like, what do you think about in 2024 where we're at and what you'd like to see different in Portland? Or if maybe not, maybe there's nothing you're going to see. I don't know.
Um, I like where Portland is, compared to where Portland used to be. I believe our community, we have a lot of different opportunities that we can take advantage of more now, that before I didn't see there. I know this year alone, I've never been to a gala before in my life. And just this year alone, I've hosted a gala. I've been to two other galas, you know what I mean?
Wow.
And just being in that space shows you how far we can come and how far we can go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of great things going on in the town. There's a lot of opportunities for small businesses. There's a lot of opportunities for nonprofits
Yeah.
and everything right now here in Portland. And I just hope that that continues to grow and that a lot of more people continue to get into that space because I see a lot of good things happening in our community here in Portland right now.
Yeah. I was asking this yesterday. I've been asking everyone this, but I'm really curious about your opinion on the Live Nation thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. I was just at a forum last night, and I met Jamie Dumfries.
Yeah, I know he's very
Right.
vocal about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I met his campaign manager,
Okay.
and she's like, "We got to get together because we're trying to do this, that, and the third, as far as with some things for the candidates to be a part of, as far as in the music space,
Yeah.
right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's make it happen. Let's do it." The Live Nation thing, I'm not for it whatsoever,
Yeah.
because I understand that Live Nation comes into town and all of our Roseland theaters, all of our Crystal Ballrooms,
All those smaller
all the
stars,
smaller venues, yeah,
Hawthorne,
Star
all those.
Theater,
Yeah.
Hawthorne,
Yeah.
those guys are going to get ran out of business, because whatever artist comes in that's signed to Live Nation, they can't perform within 200 miles of whatever venue that they're at. So we get a venue here in Portland, then a lot of these other artists that's signed to Live Nation cannot perform here,
You're saying just contractually, or
Yeah, contractually.
wow, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I
Because that's the
mean?
stuff I don't really know. All of that I know from, like, I'm sure Jamie's side or people that don't, is that, like, and I agree with it. Like, Live Nation seems like a horrible company as far as
Oh, definitely.
the history, and they're just all over, and they're kind of a monopoly in that. But
Right.
I look at them as almost like the ticket master of
Yeah.
venues or something like that. But
Yeah. And I know they do some things at the or at the Motor Center, but that's presented by Live
right,
Nation
they're
at the
just
Motor Center.
using,
They're using the Motor Center,
yeah,
but as far as to have their own venue here, that would shut so much stuff down. And I believe they did try to purchase the Motor Center before.
maybe, yeah,
I think
possibly, yeah. I
if
wouldn't
I'm
be
not
surprised.
right,
Yeah,
right. So
but yeah, I really appreciate, yeah, your perspective on it, because yeah, I've just been wondering about that. And maybe you know more, if, like, if are they trying to have multiple, like, small venues in there and then a big one as well, or is it just one big?
I believe it's gonna be one big one, but then what they'll do is start trying to buy up all the smaller ones as well.
Okay, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
my thing is we already lost Ash Street. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
I
And
remember I used to
yeah,
work right by Second Avenue right there.
yeah,
Yeah,
man. Ash Street was, man, so
it
many
is.
memories.
Well, and just such a great place for, like, people just getting started to perform,
Yeah,
and I saw a lot of people there too. Yeah,
yeah, definitely. Big shout out to Heather, the sound woman out there.
yeah.
She used to hold it down. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's cool, because that's exactly what I've been wondering, of like, yeah, those mediums to small level venues, if they would be pushed out. And
Yeah,
it sounds like,
they'll get pushed out,
okay.
and Live Nation and do what they do as far as helping push those smaller venues along,
Hmm.
you know.
And what do you think about? I've also been asking about WNBA, and then MLB. I know MLB is like a way further.
hmm
Seemed like it would take like 10 years for that to happen here, build the stadium and all that stuff. But what do you think about that? Like, bring,
I think that's definitely a part of what I was talking about earlier, just the growth of the city. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Just think about that. We have the NBA here,
Hmm.
the WNBA here, the Thorns. We
Yeah.
have
Whatever the MLS Timbers.
Timbers.
Yeah.
We
I'm
have
not into soccer, so I can't remember those,
right, and
but
then
it's
you
still good
add,
for.
yeah, definitely. Then you add a Major League Baseball team. What's gonna be next? Are we gonna get a football team after that?
I
You know what I
wish.
mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's just dope to think about. Small Portland
It.
expanding in that
Yeah.
facet. You know what I'm saying? That means more jobs for people. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That means more money for our economy.
Tons of jobs. Yeah.
Like, yeah, man.
And
Like,
it is wild to think, because ever since I've lived here, and I'm sure obviously you too, but we've always just had the Blazers, and it's
yep.
like,
We
eh,
had the Blazers and we had to compete with the Supersonics.
yeah, when they were still in Seattle, and
Right.
but yeah, just if we ever get another, I mean, I guess obviously we get the MLS, but if we ever get the MLB, that would just be like a huge step. And yeah, I think WNBA, I was talking about it yesterday, I think is a, even though I'm personally not that interested in it, I think it's a great fit here, because the Thorns, I always hear people go crazy for them, and
Yep.
so it's like a big, like, women's sports kind of
Definitely.
I don't know, not capital, but
No,
city,
I get it.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then don't we have the sports bra here?
yeah, that bar,
Yeah,
yeah,
the
yeah,
bar, the
it's
all.
getting a lot of attention. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's gonna be good even for the sports bra.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like just having that space to go to, women having that space to go to watch
yeah.
other women perform and compete at a high level.
And I think that, I could be wrong on this, but I think the WNBA is like the highest viewership they've ever
Yes.
been at. I think.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep. Big shout out to Caitlin Clark and Angela Reese for that.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like
They're getting some superstars in it. Yeah,
yeah. They actually developed their own fan base and following before getting into the NBA or
Mm,
WNBA.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they
College
have
level.
that at the college level, and they brought that into the NBA and put more eyes on the WNBA. So
Yeah.
big shout out to both of them, those young ladies.
I was gonna ask you about. I'm trying to read this other word I wrote here, but I was gonna ask you about what do you think about. I just asked everyone how fentanyl has kind of changed the
Mhm.
game as far as drugs
Man,
and I'm very open about. I used to do a lot of drugs in my 20s,
right.
and it's one of the many reasons I don't do
I don't do
drugs
drugs
anymore.
anymore because of fentanyl.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the many reasons, but yeah,
Right.
it's just like it's so scary. It's such a game changer, and I try to explain it to people that like have no history with drugs and they don't
Yeah.
really get it. But
Yeah. No,
I
it's
don't know.
definitely a game changer, man, because a, 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 a right sized grain of fentanyl can kill you.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And
and
you don't even know what it's in,
it's
you
like a
know?
dollar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And they're putting it in weed now. You know what I'm
really.
saying?
Yeah,
Like, yeah, man, it's in everything, man. So I was walking down the street the other day and a dude rode up to me in his wheelchair and he's like, "Hey bro, you smoke weed?" Like,
yeah.
man, you trying to sell me some weed, bro?
It's like a bowl of weed. Yeah,
Right. Like, and I'm thinking to myself, but I don't buy weed off the street from random
right,
people. You know
right.
what I'm saying? Like, and I don't smoke weed like that. You know what I mean? Like I don't go to the dispensary and buy weed. But
Yeah,
if it's around and it's a social thing, I'll smoke. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Once every blue moon if I'm in that mood. But yeah, it's just the fentanyl is it's scary.
Hmm.
Back in the day the weed is laced and it'll mess with your mental. But now
It's a whole nother
it's a
level.
whole nother level. It'll
Yeah,
kill you.
especially
You
for
know?
kids. Like I just feel
Yeah.
bad for kids. Like just trying to avoid growing up with that risk and trying to
Yeah.
avoid that and stuff. It's just totally different for me when I don't know. That was It's like we had a lot of other type of risks, but
Yeah.
it was a lot more work to like inject something into yourself or get to that hard drug
Right.
level.
Right. Now it's just you can get to that hard drug level just on accident.
Yeah,
You know
totally.
what I mean?
Yeah.
On accident, man. Like
Yeah.
I remember a couple of years ago, between 2022 and now, they just started cleaning everything up downtown, man. You can literally walk past people dying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
You
with
couldn't tell if they were just passed out or
yeah,
dead or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And ambulance will come, police come, swoop them up, go on about your day. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like it was crazy with that whole fentanyl epidemic here in
Hmm.
Portland.
Yeah, and we
You
were
know?
talking yesterday too about Narcan and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like I've talked to a lot of people on here who've had the Narcan people, and
Right.
it's just crazy how it's just a constant threat to. I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
something we all live with now, I guess. But
And that's crazy how it's normalized,
yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Just looking at I can barely read my writing.
I mean, you was moving fast. I know how it go. That's how I write music sometimes. Just
And it's like I don't have a printer, so
right. I think I write music when I write in gibberish, scribble, scrabble,
really,
so that other people can't understand what I'm
that's
writing.
a good like
You know what I mean?
code.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like
that's my
that.
own code.
Yeah,
So I'll scribble, scrabble all the way through, and then the last word, I'll write that good enough for eyes so that I know
yeah.
what I'm saying in that last word. But
That
everything else is
that whole thing's hard for me. I've got better at it, and I usually put notes on my phone if like I have an idea or something. But that's one of the most frustrating things for me is if I have something and I lose it
yeah.
and I don't write
Write
it
it
down or
down.
put it in my phone or something. But sometimes it'll come back to me. Sometimes that's just how my
Brain
memory
work.
works. Like
Yeah.
it'll be like a day later, and I'm like, that's what it was.
My theory is always this. If I lose it and it comes back, I'm supposed to have it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
This is what I'm supposed to
Are
have.
you? Because I was talking about this yesterday too. I'm like a halfway fate person. There's just certain things in my
Yeah.
life when I'm like, it had to be something
Right.
going on there.
So a lot of times, a lot of people don't understand this when I tell them this. So like they be like, "Man, how'd you get into radio? How'd you get into this? How'd you get into this?" And I'm like, honestly, it comes to me.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Like I don't. There's a lot of stuff that I don't seek out.
yeah,
I just let things come to me, and if it's for me, then that's the direction and route that I'm gonna take.
totally.
So like with radio, how I got into radio was Kunas called me one day. He was out of town, and they were supposed to be having a penthouse party, right? And he was supposed to host it. So he called me. It's like, hey, I need to put you in touch with um, the people over at Jim, and I need you to host this event tonight for me because I'm out of town. So I go, I host the event. Um, everything went smoothly. So the promotions manager, shout out to Diana, she's like, "Hey, you ever thought about, you know what I'm saying, working in radio?" I'm like, "No." She's like, "Well, if you ever think about it, you know what I'm saying, you could just send in your resume and, I'll get you on." So I'm like, "All right, let me try it."
Yeah.
So sent in my resume, got on. And so I'm in promotions at this time,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
My very first day in promotions with the street team, one of the street team members is like, "Oh, so you're here to be on radio. You're going to be a personality." And I'm like, "Huh?" Like, I'm not even thinking about that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I'm like, I don't know. If that's what's supposed to happen, it'll happen. And then so like 3 months later, Geoff come to me and he's like, "You ever thought about being on the radio?" I'm like, "No, I never thought about it. Why, what's up?" He's like, "Well, do you want to?" And I'm like, "Sure, I'll try it. And then he's like, "Well, meet me at this time and next week." Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then met him and it was history,
Yeah.
you know?
It is weird. Like that's definitely in my life too. All the best things I would say happen that way. It's just kind of a natural. It's like you don't really have to work hard. Like you put in the work, and then that stuff just kind of comes
Comes
to
to you.
you, and
Yeah.
it kind of
That's how I play basketball though. Once that once I was able to see basketball in that way, the game became easier for me
mm,
to just let it come instead of forcing things.
yeah,
Back in the eighth grade, my coach was like, "Man, don't force it, don't force it." When I got into high school, don't force it, don't force it. And then I think my sophomore year, I stopped forcing things and just letting the game come to me. And then so now I can see plays before they happen and I can throw you open and I can, you know what I'm saying?
yeah. It's like
Things
you
like that.
found that natural rhythm, and you don't have
Right.
to stress and like worry about it and
Exactly.
force it, like you're saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So everything I do is basketball related. How I
Really?
think, how
Okay.
how I think. So whenever I'm doing anything, it's always I'm
It's
thinking in a basketball
That's
sports
cool.
manner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because I used to be when I was younger. I used to be a way more like anti-sports person, but now I'm like totally into the NFL.
Yeah.
And it's just weird when you can like find a parallel with a game like that. I think it's really helpful for life too. Like you're saying, like to
Definitely.
just find that competitiveness and also strategy and just camaraderie. There's so much
Right.
to it that's helpful.
Who's your
Like,
team?
well, I was all in on the Dolphins, but they're I mean they're like rebuild mode now. They're talking
Right.
about getting a new coach and all this stuff,
Every
and
5 years, man.
yeah,
Every
it's a
5 years.
rebuild. Yeah,
For everything.
yeah,
Every
yeah.
5 years.
Well, it's such a brief, and that's one of the things I love about football is like it's a good and a bad thing because there's so many injuries and people. It's just such a short lifespan for
Very much so. Two
for
years, man.
yeah,
2 years. In football.
yeah.
Two
They
years.
say
Like
you have 2 years,
the running back's lifespan is a 2 year
two
lifespan.
year career until you're like
Until you boom, peak, boom.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So
makes sense. They're just getting destroyed and
yeah.
but okay, I was gonna get to these goofy questions. Unless is there anything else you want to bring up before I get into these? These are just wacky.
We'll go. We'll let it be what it's gonna be.
Okay. Um. Oh yeah. Before I do that, I did want to shout out. I thought it was really cool these hoedown pop up things you were.
Oh, okay.
I missed those, but
Yeah.
I just because a lot of these are food related questions, and I saw the menu on there, and I was
Uh-huh.
like, sounds awesome. But are you guys doing more of those, or was that just
So the next one is not gonna be a hoedown, but I want to do more hoedowns at Aura Club
okay?
Aura out in Tiger. Um,
And
we gonna
those
see. I'm trying
okay.
to talk them into
These are
doing
pop
that
up
more.
events like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
They're cool. I just thought that was cool. And okay, let's say you're parking somewhere like you did out here, or in like I would say like a shopping center.
Hmm.
Do you pull in normally or do you back in?
My wife would tell you I'm a show off. Well, she used to say, "Oh, you're showing off. You're showing off. You're showing off," because I back in
Okay.
like, and it's not a showing off thing whatsoever. It's a survival thing, right?
To get out.
Anything can happen.
Yeah.
You gotta be able to just go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now, when I pull up to meet my wife anywhere, she's always backing in now. So
You got her doing it too.
yeah,
I
it's
like it
worn
too.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I used to pull in now. I'm backing in for the past 6 months or so.
yeah. I've never been a pull in forward type of
Really?
guy.
Okay.
Never.
All right.
I'm always like I said. I lived on the streets for so long. It's
Yeah.
always a survival mentality with me.
Yeah.
So like when I go to a restaurant, my wife would tell you like I gotta sit facing the door and seeing everything that's
Yeah.
going on. You
It's
know.
crazy how that stuff really does. I was telling one of my sisters, I don't know, a couple months ago how, because I've always been like poor. Like every house I've lived in, including this one, I was in kind of like a poor neighborhood, but that scarcity mindset stays with me like
Right.
forever.
Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons like before this truck that I had a Dodge Challenger muscle car.
Uh-huh.
And 2 weeks after I got that thing, somebody backed into it. It was
Oh,
just parked, and it just like ruined my whole psychology with cars because I was like, and like now, even when I go out, like I'll take a Lyft or an Uber sometimes when I don't have to because I'm like, I
right.
don't want this thing to get
Right. Yeah.
that happen
Gotta protect
again.
it.
But
Yeah.
it's just weird how that scarcity mindset stays with you and just kind of directs your whole life. And a lot of times it's crazy. But
Right.
um, do you have a favorite type of French fry? Do you like crinkle cut, regular cut,
Man,
Philly fries?
my wife would tell you again. Fries is I used to everywhere I go, fries, fries, fries,
Really?
fries, fries. And I tell her, like, man, I hate they fries over here. They didn't have good fries over here. Things like that. I think I like crinkle cut. No.
Okay.
Don't give me crinkle
All
cut.
right.
If it's crinkle cut, if it's the shoelace thin, don't no, you keep
Okay.
those.
Okay.
I can do fresh cut if they're made right, not too soggy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Steak fries, I'm good with
Steak fries are
occasionally.
good. Yeah.
But just like the fresh cut, normal or not fresh cut, but just the normal cut.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Standard, like I
Standard
always
meat.
say McDonald's, but some people don't like. I think McDonald's has like the king
The
of.
little thicker ones than
Okay.
McDonald's.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know you
I
because you seem
can't
like
do.
a healthier eater when like when we were at that thing, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm a
eating.
vegetarian.
Yeah.
Not. I'm not one of those vegetarians that. Oh no, I can't eat an egg or anything like that.
Okay.
I just don't eat meat.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Which is probably smart. There's so much processing and crap and all that stuff.
Man, so what I've researched is the process stuff is we don't even know what type of if that's really even meat we're
Yeah.
eating. You know what I'm saying? Like I watched something where it was lab made meat and meat is made with a laser. Like
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
the hell is this?
And that they are doing that now. They're
Yeah,
like generating it and
yeah.
all this
And
stuff.
so like I'm like I just don't want to deal with it. And then you hear so many people say, "Oh, I just ate a raccoon. It tastes like chicken. I just ate this. It tastes like chicken." And it's like, well, are we really eating chicken or what are we eating? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
the chicken one is the scariest to me because it's
uh,
just it seems like the dirtiest. This like what do you call it? Factory farming and
right,
um, but it's so hard because like I just I just got Popeyes yesterday. Like it's
yeah.
so I don't know. It's hard to give up, but
You're a
I
dirty eater.
I think I think you're obviously taking the much smarter path with this because it's I don't know. There's so much too, and we always joke here in my work about microplastics, that shit's and everything
Right.
too.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
It's
What is
just
it? What are we? 70%
yeah. They said like there's like a
plastic in our
you
bodies.
eat like a credit card size every 2 weeks or a month
Yeah,
or something like that, which is
right.
just wild. But
And then you got to ask yourself, where's this cancer coming from? You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
Diabetes, all of it. It's all in the food and water.
hmm
Like even water,
yeah.
like has so much. Oh,
You got to be careful even with the water. Yeah,
you gotta read the labels on the water, man.
yeah,
Like they putting everything in the water too.
yeah.
So
Maybe then maybe this will be. Well, I'll do the ice cream one first. See, let's say you're getting ice cream somewhere. Do
mhm.
you go waffle cone, regular cone, cup?
Cup.
Okay,
Mhm.
I do the cup too. What flavor are you putting in there?
Chocolate chip
Okay, it's the old like
or
yeah.
what's the one with caramel and almonds and
Oh, like Rocky Road or something like that.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
The
don't do too much ice
I know.
cream.
I was thinking about that too. You didn't want the cheesecake that we were at that thing, or you
No,
said something about like you don't eat a lot of sweets or something. Like that.
yeah, I don't know. So even with the cheesecake, it didn't look like it. I don't know. That cheesecake looked kind of like
It was,
Jello
yeah,
to
and
me.
actually it could have been. Kristen was telling me it was some dish that was called that, and maybe it wasn't cheesecake. I don't even know,
Right.
but,
Yeah, it is.
but
Yeah. If it don't look right, man, I'm good.
okay.
I can. I'm fasting.
Yeah, yeah. Do you ever do that? Do you fast?
Yes, I do. I do.
What's the longest you've done?
The longest I fasted was 7 days,
Wow.
and that was 7 days with just they called it the Beyonce diet or
Okay.
whatever, or Beyonce fast with the water, cayenne pepper, lemon, and ginger.
Yeah, I've seen people do that, and even
Yeah,
that, I'm like, how do you do that? Like that seems hard, but
yeah, I did that 7 days.
do you get
I
that
fast often.
mental clarity? Like,
Yes,
okay.
mental clarity. It detoxes your body. Um, what is it called? not psychosis, but I can't think of the word right now.
Hallucination?
No,
No.
no.
Well, I've heard
I
people
want to
like,
hallucinate. I'm gonna do some shrooms.
yeah. No, I've heard it does like, I've heard people get that mental clarity, but in that 7 days, it can be like
Yeah,
really difficult sometimes. I don't,
definitely.
yeah.
I know when I did it, the 7 days, I slept a lot too.
Did you?
You
Okay.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just to so that I don't get any urges to go and eat
Yeah.
and things like that. But I'm super spiritual and like when I need to, and that's a part of letting things come to me as well. So like if I want to create, then I will fast.
Mm.
I'll do a 3-day fast and start creating that way.
That's a cool process. I like that. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. This one might gross you out. You probably heard me ask this at the other event the other day, but do you have a favorite Taco Bell item?
A favorite Taco Bell item. I haven't had Taco Bell in years,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
it did used to be the what was it? The flaming hot taco.
Oh, it's just like a. Are you talking about the Doritos one?
The
That one,
Dorito,
yeah.
yeah, that one used to be my favorite taco. And then I want to say Taco Bell, it wasn't fries, but before they had the cinnamon twist,
Yeah, they got the
they
cinnamon
had
twist.
something else. I can't remember
They
what it
do
was,
have
but
they
I
do have
used to
like
get all the
a
time.
fries. They have like
It was fries.
yeah, I was gonna say Mexi fries.
It was the
I think
Mexi
it was they
fries. Was it? I
maybe
think
not.
so. They used
They
to have
had some
Mexi
kind of fry,
fries.
yeah.
Yeah, they used
Yeah.
to have Mexi fries, which I used to always get from Taco Bell at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. But
Yeah, late night.
yeah, late night snack. Taco Bell, they made a profit off of people being high and drunk.
That's totally
That's
true.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Fourth meal and all that.
Right.
Which is just wild with all that fast and stuff we were just talking about. It is wild to think that like because sometimes I'll only eat 2 meals a day, but this whole like 3 meal a day thing is just kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
BS when you think about it. Like you don't really have to
You don't have to. Like
just because your body's like, oh, let's eat more. You don't really
yeah,
have to.
I don't eat after 8 o'clock at night and before 1 p.m.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's my
Your
intermediate
daily
fasting.
fasting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite fair ride or like Disneyland ride or something like that?
Never been to Disneyland.
Okay.
When I win $1 million, I'm gonna just say I'm going to Disneyland because
And
that's what we grew up on,
yeah,
right? What are you doing with your winnings? I'm
I'm gonna
going to
go. Yeah, yeah.
Disneyland. But favorite
Yeah,
ride,
do you have a favorite ride?
I believe it was the Sea Dragon.
Okay.
Remember that?
I know. I do remember a dragon that's kind of
Yeah,
goes like
the
that.
Sea
Yeah.
Dragon that used to
Oh, one
go.
of those. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like a boat sort of
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
the Sea Dragon. Um, I don't really get on rides too much.
Yeah.
Nah, but the
It.
Sea Dragon, I would say, was my favorite ride.
Okay.
I hated the what was it
The swing one like
the
that.
swing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I don't
hated
like
that
those
swing,
either.
man. That thing is scary to
There's
me.
certain ones like that. Yeah, and I would be afraid of flying off of that
That's always what I
thing.
thought. Like the one downtown, I always thought
Yeah.
somebody was gonna fly off into the Willamette River.
Same with if you ever seen the bungee one they do that just
Yeah,
like I'd
yeah,
just be terrified of that thing snapping.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm the same way. Like I don't really like the super thrill
No,
types of ones.
you can keep it. I don't need
Yeah.
it.
If you were forced to run a gigantic company or brand, you kind of obviously you run your own stuff now, but
Mhm.
is there a certain brand you'd want to run? Like Nike or something like that or
No, my own brand. Like that's the thing I struggle with the most
Mhm.
because I'm like, we put so much into other people's brands and other people's ideas
Yeah.
that we never give our own selves a shot at being as successful as we can be,
Mhm.
right? My success might not be Nike's success, Phil Knight's success, you know what I'm saying? But my success can be just making sure my family is taken care of and I got money to pass along to my grandkids and
Yeah.
my kids and so forth, you know what I'm saying? And setting them up to be more successful than myself, you know? So
Totally, yeah.
that's
What
what I struggle with the most.
it
But
does seem like
Juma
you
Blaq brand is
yeah, you have
my
I think
brand.
you have a good overall like creative brand that has a lot of I don't know, I could see it being like a really large kind of brand in the Portland area eventually I mean even now it already is,
Yeah.
but just like not only music but video and just like all these kind of different angles together.
Yeah,
The
so
creative space.
it's what's the crazy part about it is that it's taken me a long time to get to where I am right now because as a creative, you get pulled in so many different directions. And I've always been the type of person like, if you need my help, I'm gonna help you. Oh, I got this going on. I can put that on the side. I can get back to
Yeah.
whatever I got going on, but I'll help you. I'll help you. I'll help you. Now I'm being more intentional about making sure that I lock in on everything that I'm doing
Yeah.
and it all makes sense because it's all coming together now. You know what I'm saying? As
I
far
totally know
as,
what you mean. Yeah.
yeah,
Because
the
I'm the
video.
same way, and I've been like happy to do that over the years, but I try to focus my time on what I'm trying to do.
Right.
Because sometimes, yeah, I totally know what you mean when you say you get pulled in different angles, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard as a creative because I have a lot of interest, and I don't know if that's how you feel. It's just
No, yeah.
sometimes I'll be like way into one thing for like 6 months or a year, and then I'll do this other thing and whatever. But I don't know.
But then you have to master understanding that part,
Right.
right? You have to master understanding, okay, I'm only giving this much time,
Right. Right.
right? A lot of times it's like you'll do something and it's like you're just doing it just to do it,
Yeah.
but then you don't know what's coming after that, you know? But now it's for me, it's I'm doing this, I'm giving you only this much time
Mm-hmm.
because I have to get back to this. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
So yeah, just videography, photography, DJing, music, audio engineer, sound, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean, lighting, all of that. So like even today, later on tonight, I'm out at El Tiger for the El Tiger Festival.
Yeah.
Um it's at Cook Family Park. And we just yesterday we had to set up the stage with lighting and sound and all of that stuff. So today is the actual festival that we're running and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, like
It
I
does
do a
seem
little
like
bit of
you're
everything.
doing that
Yeah.
stuff all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just cool to see that it's like a really healthy, growing media company, basically, is what you're
Right.
doing. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Um, this is kind of a random one I added this morning. Do you, sorry, she's like getting on your
Oh
jacket there.
no, she's good, man. I got dogs at home.
Okay. Um, this is just because I got a text before you got here, or this was actually last night. But one of my pet peeves is when someone like I'll ask them like a small question and then I just get like
A
a
book.
page.
Right.
How do you are you a long texter or short texter? How do you feel about that stuff?
Man, I struggle with that
Do you?
sometimes because I'm so chill that you'll ask me a question and I'm just okay, yeah, or give you a thumbs up, or
Hmm.
and it's not on no, I'm blowing you off, brushing you off, anything like that. It's just cool.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And sometimes I think that people might take that in the wrong way.
yeah.
You know what I'm
There's this weird
saying?
texting like
Yeah.
dynamics or chemistry or
Yeah.
yeah, it is weird now,
So
dude.
I talked to my guy Rob Young a lot, and I was asking him one time about this same thing, like because I just normally my thing is solid. You know what I'm saying? I'll say
Yeah,
solid or
yeah,
100.
yeah,
And some people might take that as me being just short, or you know what I mean?
yeah.
I've never
Totally,
thought about it
totally,
like that because
totally.
I'm just like, okay, solid, yeah, cool.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get it done, or we'll do, you know what I'm saying? Or if that's what you want to do, solid. And it's never me blowing anybody off. It's just I'm just straight to the point.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's make it happen.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I get it. That's totally how I am. And I tell people this too. I'm like, I would do something like that that's equally as short. And then it's like, if you want to have a conversation, we can talk in person. You can
talking,
call
yes,
me,
yeah,
whatever. Like, but
yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and type and
Right,
like, I don't
right.
know. But
Yeah.
some people love it. It's weird. I don't know. I didn't ask you, I guess the only one I didn't ask you is, do you like crunchy or smooth peanut butter? I always ask people
I
that.
do remember you saying that at Alan's
That's the
party.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, at Alan's
Or
party.
maybe you don't like peanut butter.
No,
Some
I
people
do.
don't like it. Yeah.
Um, Jiffy Smooth.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like
The red top.
yeah, the red top, dude. That's what I get the worst kind. I get the no stir. Yeah, like the Jiffy. I don't know any of that stuff. Skippy.
Yeah.
I get the
I
worst
grew up on
kind.
Skippy though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Skippy, the peanut butter, the peanuts and crunchy Skippy.
Okay.
That's the blue, more sky blue
Yeah.
joint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got the brands all in there. I know, like it. I could do this is the last one I'll do. I guess. I've been getting. I know this will sound really funny when I ask this, but I've been asking people's nut rankings.
A nut rank.
So mine, it's on my other paper there, but I think mine are pistachio, peanut, cashew. Those are my top three. And maybe you don't even like nuts like that. I don't know.
Nah. Uh, so I like almonds, but only in ice cream. Really, like
Okay,
I can't
okay.
sit there and eat almonds or walnuts. Sorry,
Yeah.
I can't eat walnuts.
Walnuts is a
Just
weird
like
one.
yeah,
Weird.
but those three,
Okay.
yeah,
You like those?
I wouldn't say in that order, but probably similar.
Okay.
So I do planters. I eat planters.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, like sometimes I'll just go on a peanut binge and for 2 weeks straight, just I'm only eating peanuts.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I like all that honey roasted, all that shit.
right. I think the spicier one for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anything spicy is
right.
good. All right. Where's like the best place people can find you for
On socials, Juma Blaq, JumaBlaq on all socials. With TikTok is
okay.
Juma.Black5 for whatever reasons. I don't know why I
I like
kept the
barely
5.
get into TikTok, but I didn't even think
Right.
about that. You're on there too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't. I barely get into TikTok too, but as of lately, I've been using more TikTok.
Yeah.
I think just because the editing, they edit your videos easier
Yeah. It is
than
very video
Instagram.
oriented.
Yeah, yeah.
I have an
So
account, but I only look at it like not on my phone, but on a computer, which is weird.
right.
But I do like, yeah, I follow a lot of comedy stuff on there, but yeah, TikTok has a whole new like aesthetic they've created. I
Yeah,
think it's like a lo-fi kind of thing, but
yeah. I'm cool with TikTok.
yeah.
I've tried to stay away from it for a while. I don't like following trends or anything like that. So
Hmm.
when everybody's talking about this, I'm like, man, y'all go that way, I'll go this way.
Yeah, me
You
too. Yeah,
know?
contrarian.
Right. But also Black Friday.
Hmm.
I'm dropping a EP
Okay, nice,
series,
nice.
an annual series every Black Friday.
That's
So
awesome. Yeah.
yep, getting the artwork done for it now.
Okay.
You know, and it's gonna be labeled Black Friday. You
Okay.
know, yeah. So it's
Yeah,
gonna
keep
be
an
my
eye for
Black
that.
Friday
Yeah.
Black Friday series. Just 5 songs. I got Braille on the beat. Shout out to
I
Braille.
was gonna shout him out. I was trying to get him on the show. I don't know if he would want to do.
We're gonna get him on the show.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, after this, we're gonna make a phone call to him
Okay.
to get him on the show. So what people don't know is Braille is actually my brother.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, like,
I had
and
no idea. Yeah.
yeah, nobody does.
Yeah.
Like, we've lived 2 separate lives, and yeah,
I love his beats though.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's one of the most talented dudes in the town when it comes to beats. He's worked with so many different artists.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So Night Shift, that's on my
Yeah.
album,
Yeah.
Solid ASF. That's produced by Brill.
Okay.
You know, and I got another joint um that's on this Black Friday
You
EP
did a
that
track on there.
that Braille did.
Nice.
Well, I got 2 joints that Braille did on
Okay.
this next one, man. So I'm excited about putting this next project out. And matter of fact, probably could come back on
Yeah.
here, man.
We could do
And
it. Yeah.
yeah,
I would love to do. I love to. Yeah, especially for any kind of release, album release or all
yeah,
that stuff. Yeah, we'll do promote it and this will be like every year you do Black Friday 1, 2, 3
yep.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Volume
Yeah.
1, Volume 2, Volume
Nice.
yeah. So I got the jeweler on the beat. He does some production on it. And I'm only working with local artists,
Yeah.
you know, on this project. Oh, well, I got one producer that's out of New York, Pablo Escobar or Pablo Escobar, I should
Okay.
say.
Nice. Nice.
And he's super dope. He's super dope, man. He keeps me on my toes like randomly. Here, Juma, here's 5 beats, man. Check them out. Tell me what you
Nice.
think. You know what I'm
Nice.
saying? So yeah,
Cool. Well, yeah, keep an eye out for that, and yeah, maybe we'll have you back for sure to talk about
yeah.
that. Yeah. But yeah, thanks so much for coming today, and
Thanks
this was
for
an awesome conversation,
Thank you
man.
for having me,
Yeah.
Andy. You know, like I said, it's been a long time in the making.
Yeah.
And we finally got here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah.